Welcome to Kraj Conspiracies with me, Sally Kraj. Roald Dahl's classic children's novel Charlie and the Chocolate Factory has been adored by children ever since its release in 1964. It's a fantasy land of chocolate, candy and golden eggs. But is this novel the children's paradise we think it is? The internet says no, particularly in the film adaptations from 1971 with Gene Wilder and 2005 with Johnny Depp. Willy Wonka, far from being the quirky inventor we see in the films, is actually a serial killer who brutally murders each child who enters the factory except for Charlie Bucket. The evidence starts with the opening scenes of Tim Burton's 2005 adaptation, which explores Wonka's dark, abusive childhood, the base ingredient for any horror film. His father taunts him with chocolate and candy but disappoints him each time. He makes him wear a disfiguring brace and implies his allergies are his own fault. This reaches its peak when Wonka tells his father he'll run away to Switzerland to make chocolate. His dad says he won't be here when he gets back. At first glance, it appears that this moment inspired Willy Wonka to become an artistic chocolatier. But at a deeper level, some argue it turns him into a psychopathic killing machine, with an odd fetish for children and severe dislike and mistrust of adults.
Is the Grizzly Reaper mowing? Yes! The danger must be growing, for the rowers keep on rowing!
Scarily, he lures children to his factory who are blessed with what he never had, a loving parent who could take them to a chocolate paradise, and so he's thirsty for revenge. Particularly on those children who take their privilege for granted. Yes, we're talking about Veruca Salt. Further evidence to this point is that Wonka seems completely unremorseful at each child's mishaps. The theory continues that Wonka's compulsion with sweets forces him to consume them at every meal. Living a life without any nutrition whatsoever has greatly hindered his health. So at the time the film takes place, he's actually dying of a nutrition-related disease. This is highlighted by his pale skin, short memory, anxiety, quick anger, deteriorating nails, which he hides under his gloves, and inability to move with ease as he relies on his walking stick. Because of this, Wonka needs an heir to continue his legacy, which isn't manufacturing chocolate, but rather compulsive child killing. And so he chooses Charlie Bucket from the outset. What are the odds of Charlie finding a golden ticket by accident? They aren't very good. Millions of bars were sold worldwide and Charlie had no money for candy. But he does find a banknote conveniently left on the road near the store. The shopkeeper, who is almost certainly in on the plan, selects a particular bar to give to Charlie. When he does discover a ticket, countless strangers offer him money in exchange for it. Money that would greatly assist his poverty-stricken family. The shopkeeper convinces him to go straight home and talk to nobody, so as to avoid being convinced to give the ticket away. There are several reasons for Charlie being chosen to continue Wonka's legacy. He was innocent and took little for granted, unlike the other entitled children in the factory. There are also countless similarities between the two, which Wonka would have found appealing. They both experienced childhood mostly without candy. Wonka because his father had banned it, and Charlie because his family could simply not afford it. Both of their families have worked in the dental industry at some level, and each time an incident occurred in the factory, Wonka spoke to Charlie directly to suss out his reaction and determine whether or not he had the character to continue the killings after Wonka's time. The other 4 children are deliberately sourced to enter the factory as well, and their subsequent deaths were calculated from before the competition was even announced. For example, Mike, the TV addict, is lured to his death in a TV simulator. Likewise, Violet, our favourite bratty gum chewer, is tempted by her favourite sweet. Greedy Augustus was let loose in a room packed with magical candy, so of course he was going to fall into a sticky trap. And Veruca Salt, the spoiled princess of the story, was lured to her death when she was told directly by Wonka that she could not have something he knew she'd want. So it turns out Charlie and the Chocolate Factory isn't as sweet as it seems.